Hi, I'm Zina Dalla.
And I'm Yasmin Karachiwala. We're the co-authors of our book, Sculpt and Shape the Pilates Way. Today, we're going to show you some exercises for the hunchback posture. Before we do that, we'd like to tell you a little about the hunchback posture. Once we show you the exercises and you do them, you will feel much better.
So in hunchback posture, it usually means that the shoulders are rounded forward and the head is jutting forward. So what happens is that the chest muscles are very tight and the lat muscles, which are the muscles down the sides here, also tend to be very tight. The back muscles tend to be very weak, as well as the neck muscles are very weak. So all the exercises we're going to do today are going to help open up your chest and strengthen your back. This is Pelvic Curl, and you'll find this on page 132 of Sculpt and Shape the Pilates Way. We'll start lying on the back, face up, your hands down by your sides, and really reach the fingers towards the heels so you can open up the space between the shoulders and the ears. The pelvis is in neutral position, which means you have a small little space between the low back and the mat. The heels are hip-width distance apart. That way the knees are hip-width distance apart. She's going to take a nice deep breath in through her nose. And on the exhale, she's going to push her low back into the mat and start to peel the hips up slowly, one vertebrae at a time up. Then at the top, she'll take a nice deep breath in through the nose, and on the exhale, she's going to come down one vertebrae at a time, making sure she keeps her shoulders open and wide. Again, at the bottom, she'll inhale, and on the exhale, she's going to tuck and roll back up. Now here, she's really using her abdominals, and she's also using her glutes and her hamstrings. Inhale here at the top, and then exhale, we're really trying to get each vertebrae down into the mat, imagining as if your vertebrae are like pearls and you're putting each pearl back down into the sand as you go up and as you come back down. We want to make sure the shoulders stay open here. So if the shoulders are popping up, a variation you can do is to bend the elbows, really pushing the elbows down into the mat, and that will help you keep your shoulders down and open. You also want to make sure that the knees are not opening up or closing up. So something you could do is put a little pillow here between the knees so you can have slight pressure between the knees, and that will help you work your inner thighs. Finally, you want to make sure the feet are really firmly planted down into the mat, that you're not rolling out or rolling in. Let's do 2 more reps. Really breathing and pushing up. Make sure also that the ribs do not pop. That's really common. So we want to keep the ribs really pulling in. What we're doing here is called spinal articulation, and the goal is to really stretch out and articulate the spine. Last one, inhale and exhale, pushing down and rolling up. And she'll take a nice deep inhale and then exhale, rolling back down. This is Supine Spine Twist, which you can find on page 134 of Sculpt and Shape the Pilates Way. We're going to start lying on the back, and we're going to take the arms to a T position with the palms face up. Then we're going to bring the legs into a tabletop position, and it's always best to do this one leg at a time. So one leg will come up, and then the other leg will come up. The knees will squeeze together, and it's very important to keep the knees squeezing together throughout the whole exercise. The ankles will also squeeze together. Now on an inhale, both knees are going to come over towards me, the hip will lift, and the knees stay together. And on the exhale, she's going to bring the knees right back to center. Inhale, we're going to go the opposite direction. And then again on the exhale, she's going to come right back to center. So a couple important things here. It's really important to make sure the knees stay stacked on top of each other. If they don't, then we don't get the correct rotation on this. Also important to make sure that the ribs don't flare up, that we're pushing them down into the mat. Also watch the shoulders here. So as she goes over, the opposite shoulder should stay planted in the mat. And then again, exhale, she brings it back. Another common mistake is sometimes the feet will lift. We don't want to do that. We want to try to keep those feet down and parallel with the knees. So again, inhale, she comes over, keeping the opposite shoulder down, and exhale. What we're doing here is we're really warming up the spine, and we're warming up the abdominals, and we're doing that by rotating the body side to side. This prepares us for other exercises. Let's do a couple more. Inhale as we go over, and exhale as we come back. And the last one, inhale as we go over. Keep those knees squeezing together, and exhale as we come back. Now, if this bothers your low back or you find it really challenging, you can always bring the feet back down into the mat. Still keep the knees squeezing together, and let's just do one rep here. Inhale over, and then exhale back. Last one, inhale over, and exhale as you come back. This is spine stretch forward, and you can find this on page 136 in Sculpt and Shape the Pilates Way. We're gonna sit up nice and tall with the legs extended out in front of us. Now, this is very important. If we can't have a flat back here, so if someone's back is rounded because the hamstrings are tight, we have a couple modifications. First, you can prop yourself up on this mat. So Yasmin's gonna demonstrate and prop herself up. That way it's a lot easier to find a flat back, or come on off. The other option is to bend the knees. So she can bend the knees, and then that will help her find a flat back, okay? But she's very flexible, so we're gonna go ahead and straighten those legs. Arms are gonna come out in front of her, but we wanna make sure that when the arms come forward, we're not rounding forward, okay? So we're really pulling the shoulders back, and we've got the fingertips right directly out in front of the shoulders. She's gonna take a deep breath in. On the exhale, she'll bring her chin down to her chest and slowly roll forward as if she's rounding over an imaginary ball in front of her and stretching the hands forward as far as she can get them. Then she'll inhale at the bottom, and on the exhale, she'll start to articulate the spine one vertebra at a time as she rolls up, and then the head is the last thing to lift. Again, inhaling here at the top, and exhale, rolling down. So a couple things we're working here. We're really stretching the hamstrings, and we're really stretching the spine. But then as she rolls up, we're really strengthening the back extensors and strengthening the abdominals. So there's a lot of wonderful things that are going on here. Couple things to watch out for. As she goes forward, we want to make sure the shoulders don't come up by the ears. So really pull those shoulders down, beautiful. And then again, as we come up, usually a lot of people, we forget to articulate, so we lose one of these little spaces in the spine. So again, visualize that you're up against a wall behind you and that you're trying to place each vertebrae into the spine as you roll up, and each vertebrae comes off the wall as you come back down. You can also do this exercise up against a wall, so it's acceptable to have the back up against the wall, and then you can really feel what you're doing here. Beautiful, watch those shoulders. And again, you want to feel like you're rounding over an imaginary ball so your abdominals are pulling in. Beautiful. Also important to flex the feet. You want to imagine that your feet are up against a wall. This is our last one. Inhale and exhale, round forward. Beautiful. And you want to keep the fingertips in line with the shoulders the whole time, and then roll right back up.
We've created a special playlist for you to demonstrate exercises from our book on hunchback posture.
So if you really want to learn how to sculpt and shape your body and do the exercises perfectly, then tune into this special playlist made just for you.